What's the difference between this lead brick and this Stearman? Nothing. They both drop like a lead brick. Today, we're talking about ForeFlight's new feature, emergency glide mode. Dude, why is this so heavy?
I'm sick and tired of living in LA.
Dude, that was straight out of a movie, bro.
There's so much change. I need a place to go with the seasons, and no one now has a reason to be cold-hearted.
What does Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs, and Mark Zuckerberg all have in common with ForeFlight? They understand something called decision fatigue. Zuckerberg simplifies his wardrobe, Jobs did the same, and Jeff Bezos speaks on his 3 high-quality, low-volume decisions a day. Not because they didn't care, but because they understood that every decision uses mental energy. The concept was made popular by a psychologist named Roy Baumeister, who found that over time, the more decisions you made, the worse your decision-making became. So even small things like what to wear, it all adds up. So the idea here is simple. Eliminate trivial decisions so you can focus on the more important ones. And in aviation, there are moments where that principle matters more than anywhere else. ForeFlight's new feature, Emergency Glide Mode, is built around that exact idea. It's part of the broader safety initiative and is designed for one of the most critical situations a pilot can face, an in-flight engine failure. Engine failures are always possible in aviation, especially general aviation. And even a well-maintained aircraft like this, things can happen. And when they do, the pilot is immediately faced with a series of high-pressure decisions. Where can I land? Is there a better option? Will I make the runway? And what are the winds doing? All that happens quickly and under stress. All that decision fatigue at the worst possible moment. ForeFlight already includes Glide Advisor, which shows you your potential glide based on altitude, performance, and winds. Emergency Glide Mode builds directly on top of that, and with a single tap in the app, you're in the mode. The interface simplifies immediately. Non-essential elements are removed, and the critical tools like extended center lines and track vectors are emphasized. From there, the system highlights the most viable airports within glide range. Green indicates the most favorable landing options, and these recommendations are based on multiple real-time factors including distance, runway length, your current altitude and heading, winds aloft, and even weather conditions. If no airports are within glide range, the system switches to identifying possible landing areas, potential off-airport landing sites. These are not guaranteed safe landing sites, and the pilot resumes full responsibility for the final decision. What this system does provide is a data-driven way to narrow down your options. Using high-resolution terrain and land use data, it highlights areas which may be more suitable based on types of land cover, distance from an obstacle or infrastructure, terrain slopes, tree density, minimum usable landing length. Instead of guessing, the pilot has a structured guide.
All right, quick story time for you guys. So I have been in a situation like this. It was a partial engine failure. It was back in 2023. I had just finished my finals. It was the winter. I was about to go into winter break and I was about to go down south. So I wanted to get a quick flight in. It was a fairly cold day, about 40s on the temperature, a little bit of moisture in the air. The run-up was fine for the most part, and I ended up taking off in a flight of 2 with my buddy Kevin. He's got a Tiger. We were about 15-20 minutes into the flight, and my engine started running rough. I was at 2100, which is where I normally cruise at, and then it dropped suddenly to 1600. First instinct was to pull the carb heat. I pulled it out, and then it started running rough. So naive me, new pilot, I pushed it right back in, and then it escalated quickly. I got ForeFlight out and I just did direct 2 for the final of, I think it was 2-3 at Slovenia, and we just started bringing it in. The problem was it was winter, and in the winter in Wisconsin, you can't tell a road from a runway. Even when ForeFlight showed us a few miles out, we still couldn't see the airport. We even pulled up satellite imagery to try to match and see what we were seeing in the air, but the terrain looked completely different when it's snow covered. That's the kind of situation where having more than just a moving map becomes critical. A tool like Emergency Glide would have provided immediate clarity and given me peace of mind, confirming glide capability, reinforcing my decision, and reducing the uncertainty in that situation. The cause of the situation was carb icing. Those engines are known for it, especially the carburetors, those Strombergs. However, the bigger takeaway is this. In an emergency situation, your ability to make clear decisions is hindered. Tools that simplify that decision can save lives. Emergency glide mode is designed to do exactly that. Reduce cognitive load and provide actionable options in a sticky situation. It's not a replacement for training or judgment, but in a critical moment, having more information presented clearly can change the outcome of that situation. And that is the value of emergency glide mode.
Okay, we're taxiing out here. Cigars, CIG, gas. Racing traffic, yellow Stearman, departing 22, same in the pattern racing. Runways cleared, verified, 22. Full power. And we're off. Alright, let's check out this emergency glide here. Upwind. About pattern out. And we're going to activate emergency glide and activate glide. One airport is in glide range. That's for seeing. Turning straight towards the runway. As soon as you chop the power on this plane, it drops like a brick. Alright. Coming in on a very tight base here, cutting in on the numbers. Very tight base here, cutting in on the numbers. Final, bringing it in with some speed. And too low for emergency glide, runways made. And touchdown.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.